Botswana. The Okavango Delta. These are places synonymous with overlanding. Thousands of people travel from all across the world to visit this place every year, and families grow up learning to love, respect, and preserve nature because of places like this. It's a dream destination, a dream not only of mine, but of all of us on this adventure. And if it isn't a dream of yours right now, then I hope it's memories instead. I remember watching National Geographic as a child and being bewildered by the raw wilderness of the animals, the life, and the purity of it all. And now, we are going to find out if it lives up to the expectation. We will be heading into the Okavango Delta for our next big overlanding adventure. And although it's all our first time, we are excited and ready to take on the challenge and experience it all for ourselves.
I've always flown over to the airplane. I can physically stand on it, so I'm so happy about that.
To share the camp with nature, you know, there's no fence around you that separate you from that wild outside world there. You part of it, you're in it, you sleep in it. It's fantastic.
A bit nerve-wracking in the beginning, thinking about what we have to do, especially when you see the animals around and like through the camps and all the campsites and that.
Looking forward to experience it for myself and see what it's all about. It's gonna be epic.
Our journey to Botswana began at 2 a.m. and as usual, we were waiting for Rufy. This trip, we would welcome his brand new Land Cruiser 79 to the convoy, but we would also be seeing the familiar Hilux Legend RS of his father in our convoy too. My newly transformed setup would have to have its shakedown trip right here and right now. And all I know is we had one great looking convoy and we were pretty much prepared for anything that lay ahead. We crossed the border at 9 a.m. and entered Botswana at the pinnacle of its hottest and driest month. This trip was going to test us and our vehicles to the absolute maximum. It would be putting all of our equipment to the test, and the road conditions in Botswana were also going to be putting our nerves to the test. But this is where the beauty of Botswana starts to take hold. The donkey carts, the goats, the cows, the forever changing speed limits, the vet fences, all of these things give you opportunities to interact with the people of Botswana, and more importantly, it forces you to slow down and absorb the experience. This series of Roam Overlanding is proudly brought to you by the power of Red Arc and supported by Garmin, and in part by Bushtec aluminium canopies, Easy-On, Worth, and cross-country insurance consultants and compendium insurance brokers. After crossing the border into Botswana and making it to Nata Lodge, we could now begin our journey to Maun, crossing the territories of the Makadikadipans and Ngaipan en route to the majestic Okavango Delta, where we would be exploring Moremi Game Reserve, the Khwai Community Concession, and Savuti in the Chobe National Park.
Yeah.
So we're just leaving Nata Lodge now. It was a lovely stopover. The pool last night was awesome. Have a nice cold beer, had a nice dinner, we're feeling recharged. After a big push yesterday, I think it's good to, plan in a few little breaks and a little bit of relief here and there. Now our mission is to get to Maun, and we want to pick up our meat from the beef boys, and we want to just get ourselves kind of ready for our nice adventure. We've got about 300 and something Ks to drive today to get to Maun, so it's a decent distance, but all the shops and stuff start to close from around 2 o'clock, so we need to make sure we're there in time to pick up our meat order and get all of our stuff sorted. We were just settling in and would have arrived in Maun with good time to spare, when all of a sudden I hit something in the road and blew up my right rear tire. Rolfie, I'm gonna say it. Get the agadaga. What we'll do is if you go that way so long, then we'll sort this out and we can just catch up.
Yeah.
Then at least if something happens and it closes you there, you can get food, you can get some veggies, you can get some stuff that if the shops are completely closed on Sunday, we've at least got some stuff with us. And off Rolf went ahead of us to make sure we could get our meat order collected. The heat was really turning up now, and we were pretty close to 40 degrees and wanted to try and get this tire change done as quickly as possible. The sand was hot and quite soft under the jack, so we were going to have to use our Max Tracks as a surface to jack from. This wasn't our safest tire change scenario, so we popped the wrecked tire under the rock sliders in case something happened. Luckily, we managed just fine to get the spare on, but this definitely put us behind schedule a bit and added a new problem onto our list to try and sort out. There is no way I could go into the Okavango Delta without a good spare. It tore the lug off and ripped the whole bloody thing open. That is a feat of strength. Day 2 of our adventure, one tire down. Luckily, having the spare wheel carrier on the back made it a quick and easy affair. But we were sweaty and ready to hit the road again.
That was a fun experience.
It was bloody hot, eh? Yo. Phew. Sweating a little bit now.
Well, that's Botswana for you. Elephants and zebras next to the harbour.
Botswana's all about.
So with our misfortune behind us, the sweet sight of Maun ahead reminded us of what we were here to do. The next few days here would give us plenty of time to prep for our entry into the Moremi Game Reserve. 45 kilograms of meat. We're going to use that over the next 17 days, so overlanding, huh? Okay, so we switched Big Bertha on from the Red Vision app. Put this on. I'm going to do about 2 hours. It's going to take a while to heat up. 180. Now let's chuck these guys in here. Chuck that in there. We can kind of forget about that for a little bit. I'll then just set a timer on my watch for the same amount of time, so we know to check it when this thing is done. So we're going to leave it in for 2 hours, and that should be plenty for it to defrost and actually cook. We're splitting up at the moment. The rest of the guys are going to go to Woolworths or Spar or something and buy some vegetables and stuff for us. I need to find a tire repair shop. Hopefully I can find somewhere decent, get a decent spare tire. Okay, well that's that. We've searched everywhere around Maun. We've tried little shops, you know, guys on the side of the road with used tires and everything. This would happen the one time I decide, you know what, I'm not going to take a second spare with. It's so unnecessary. Everybody says it's unnecessary. It's a waste of weight. It's a waste of fuel, having it on the roof and all of that stuff. But look, here we are right now. And I don't need a full second spare. All I need is that second carcass, which which is what I was going to bring with. And the only reason I didn't bring it with is because I didn't have time to get eye nuts to tie it onto the roof rack. So yeah, next time somebody says, don't worry about taking a second spare, you don't need it. What do they know? With sausage rolls on the menu and the rest of our groceries done, we were ready to finally head to camp. So we made it to Audi Camp. We all set up. We got to set up the new ground tent. That's all sorted. So that's nice. That's 2 stretchers in there, 2 mattresses. Should be quite good. I think that's going to be a nice option for having to accommodate so many people. We've settled in, we've got our camp set up. We want to go down and find the pool now. We have booked our very special thing for tomorrow morning, so we're going to be heading off tomorrow morning quite early into Maun to the airport. So that'll be really cool. So this is officially the lowest I have ever run my battery. It got down to 10%. 10%! It actually shut off all the external things, lights, USBs, all that stuff. Fridges stayed on. Luckily, I think it just made it. This is one of our biggest power usage days we've ever had, and it's probably because it's 40 degrees. And we just bought a whole bunch of groceries and we put them in the fridges, and obviously it takes a while for the fridges to actually get anything cold at 40 degrees. So hopefully they managed to do a bit of catch up overnight. But when I went to bed, the battery was at 50%, so it definitely was working last night. It is still 30 degrees in the battery box, so it's pretty toasty, but yeah. We hooked up to some AC power here at the camp, and the Manager 30 is charging everything up at 30 amps. So we're actually going to be leaving the cars here and heading back into Maun today. So we'll just leave it connected up to AC the whole day, so we don't have that same issue again.
Khwai's a box around the bird's eye. It's unbelievable, literally.
One of our lenses from ODP. So this camera here is the A7 Mark IV, and this is the 200 to 600. And this camera can literally change between focusing on the eye of birds, animals, and human beings. So you can hopefully we're gonna get some crazy cool shots with it, especially with this lens. But we're busy loading up the cameras now because we are going on a helicopter flight. That's gonna be something a bit different. We don't often see things from the sky in Rome Overlanding. So hopefully this is going to be quite a unique perspective for us all. You ready, Rolfie?
Ready. Ready as you're gonna get.
Let's go. These types of epic things are only possible because of our awesome sponsors. We were really excited to actually get to see the Okavango Delta from the air and to capture it and share that with all of you too. This isn't a cheap excursion at $350 per person, so enjoy. So here we go. Flight over the Okavango. We've requested that the doors be off, so we're going to get amazing views and very, very exciting. We are here in the tail end of the dry season. The hot dry days mean that the Okavango Delta evaporates at a rate of 11 millimeters per day until hopefully the heat crashes and the rain finally begins to fall, commencing the beginning of the rainy season. And the abundance of wildlife is just something so special to experience, even now.
Very awesome. You can see that the Okavango is dry at the moment, but still beautiful. That was an awesome experience. We're having our quick brekkie here. We've got a bunch of little things to try and do today. We're trying to sort out the spare tire and all of that stuff in Maun. Hopefully we can get something sorted out today. We want to try and leave early tomorrow morning to start our journey towards Third Bridge. We were hoping to get everything sorted so we could get to Southgate today, because tomorrow means I have to go and find a tire shop, put on the tire, and then we have to drive to Southgate and then to Third Bridge, and that is quite a journey even without filming. It's quite a lot more with filming. So let me get back to camp, tell everybody not to bother packing up. Looks like we are one more night at Audi Camp. It's not that it's a bad camp, it's just that it is a bit loud. There's a lot of noise, but maybe Sunday night will be better than Saturday night? Let's see. Anyways, driving back to camp with my tail between my legs. So here we go on another day in Botswana. Today we're heading to Third Bridge, so we have got quite a bit to do before we get to that point though. I need to rush into town to go and find a tire shop and just swap over the spare. But otherwise, we are set for an amazing adventure. Let's get going. But it was actually much quieter last night.
Yes, we didn't have the partying craziness of that Saturday night.
It was nice. I slept very well.
Oh no, I slept much better. Slept straight through and ready to conquer the Moremi today.
Let's go.
All packed up and ready to go, we had just our last few little tasks to take care of before hitting the gravel. After missioning around, we found the Dunlop zone right at the entrance to Maun. They had literally one tire in my size. And the next option was nearly double the price. And the prices were already crazy. I'm never leaving my second spare. That's all I'm saying. We are sorted now on the new spare tire. Not necessarily my first choice of tire, but it's got a 3-ply sidewall and it's an all-terrain and it cost a hell of a lot less than some of the other tires, but it still wasn't cheap. So I feel more confident with that over a cheap Chinese alternative. So let's see. At least we've got a spare now.
Yeah, no, we are plenty stocked up. We've got everything and more.
No, definitely. But I think we set for 10 days in the wild without seeing a shop or anything.
Yeah, the car feels like that. Feel like we've got a whole Pick and Pay on the back.
I think we got 3 rolling Pick and Pays right now.
Spar, Pick and Pay and a Woolworths. And a Tops.
Lekker. But yeah, just to get fuel and then we off into the Moremi.
Absolutely, I think we'll stop. There's a fuel station just up ahead. We just also need to get some firewood.
Ooh, yeah, we forgot about that, hey?
Do you want to have a look here? I don't see anyone to sell the wood.
There are plenty of people next to the road selling chopped up mapani in little bundles. The pricing wasn't too bad, so we loaded up as much as we could and even had a fan of the show stop by and ask for a picture. What a small world. Next up, filling diesel.
Okay, so my last little tweak now is just to soften up the shock absorbers a bit, because we are now going to be going off of the main road. So I'm going to take it down a couple clicks, just make it a bit more comfortable on the corrugated roads. And we are now filled up, long range tanks absolutely full. We are stuffed full of diesel, food, water, and we are now ready to get off grid for the next couple days. So let's get going. We're on our first dirt road. Time to deflate.
As we stood there deflating, we could hear the vehicles coming past us rattling themselves to pieces. So we knew this road wasn't going to be fun, but we didn't realize just how terrible it really is. We quickly learned that this is not a road you want to drive on unnecessarily. It was definitely a good way to see if our terrain tamer suspension could stand up to its name. All in all, it was good to be back on the gravel. And knowing my vehicle would be in four-wheel drive for the next 13 days had me excited to my bones. This would also be Rolfie's first time getting to really play and test out his cruiser. The new weight distribution of the tray setup was already feeling so much better, and even though this is the heaviest I've been loaded up, the vehicle felt safe and in control. We got off the main road and began the route into the Moremi, and within minutes we were already starting to see wildlife.
So the route we're taking now is apparently better for game viewing, and it takes a little bit longer than the other one, but yeah, we just thought we'll do this because we're not going to come back and do this road, so it might be nice and fun. This has got all the classic bridges, first bridge, second bridge, and third bridge is actually after camp, so we'll only see that probably tomorrow.
Welcome to the Moremi Game Reserve. We wouldn't be here particularly long, but we were going to try and experience as much of it as we could. And although it's quite dry, every now and then you go through these patches of dense greenery and occasionally spot a lagoon off in the distance.
Ruby, check out all the palm trees there on the left in the distance. Where the water must be in.
We were now starting to see some wildlife as we made our way towards First Bridge. All the usual suspects you might see in the bush came to say hello. Wildebeest, good old ellies with some impressive ivory, our one-eared giraffe friend and his son, a lone young male kudu trying to find himself, and a busy and friendly little swallow-tailed bee-eater. A small sounder of warthogs, a mum and her young. We started to work our way closer to the water, and the variety just exploded. Bigger groups of elephants, even a few babies around, so we had to be very cautious around their protective parents. With the water in sight, the birds and buck were just beautiful, with the golden afternoon sun breaking through the burgeoning Mboma forest.
This water pans we just saw at the back. Just I didn't expect so much water in this barren land this time of the year. I don't want to know how much water here is when it's rainy season and wet season. Because if I judge the roads and the dongas we find where the people get stuck, I'm very glad we're not here in the wet season. Very glad.
Every now and then, the dense greenery is interrupted by these beautiful, idyllic patches of savanna grassland, giving you a whole new perspective of the Moremi.
So we are at one of the first bridges, literally first bridge. So it's our first time going over a bridge in the Moremi. So this is one of, I think, 4 or 5 bridges, and we've got 2 to do today. This is cool that it looks hella rickety and the trucks are fat at the moment. Heard that there's some lions and some lion cubs here by Second Bridge. We've just crossed the bridge. We're waiting. Wolfie's managed to get across the bridge now as well, so we are on the search for the lions. They were apparently lying down somewhere, but let's see.
There is nothing quite like the adrenaline rush to getting to a recent lion sighting. We had been given a tip by a fellow traveller to take the river road after the second bridge, but we were quickly starting to feel like we had taken a wrong turn and that the temptation of a lion sighting was about to get the best of us.
So there we are. What a beautiful sighting. We managed to find her. It felt a little bit dodgy, like we weren't going to, but the cubs were running off in the other direction. We didn't manage to get a chance to get the footage, but she is in beautiful, beautiful condition. There's another lion hiding behind the anthill there. But geez, sun's going down. We got to get to camp. We've got to get set up before it gets dark. We are in the wild Okavango here, so we better get ourselves sorted.
The sun had abandoned us, the day was nearing its end, and we were closing in on camp quickly. The problem with places like this is that these are the best times to see animals, and we were buzzing from the lion sighting and hungry for more. These were not far from the camp, and great reminders of what will be lurking around in the shadows tonight. We had a new ground tent to set up, and we weren't keen on doing that in the dark.
Alrighty, so we have settled in our camp. We've got a beautiful little fire going. We've got our meal cooking. We've got to put some veggies on. We've got some meat going. We've had a couple G&Ts, a little brandy and coke. We're feeling festive. We're enjoying our first night in the proper wilderness, the proper bush, having the third bridge experience, and it is absolutely sweet. We're at campsite number 2. We've got a big, beautiful, I think it's a jackalberry or something above us. It's stunning. We can hear the lions in the distance. We can hear the hyenas. We can hear elephants. Like, this is what it's all about. This is what we've been really, really pushing to have this experience. So anyways, we're gonna head off, have some dinner, head to bed, and we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Good morning. You join us here at Third Bridge. Beautiful, beautiful morning. Lovely evening. Waking up in the middle of the night to the sounds of the wild animals. Side-striped jackals, lions, hippos, hyenas. Beautiful. Really, really lovely. This campsite is spectacular. Absolutely magical spot. We just wanted to take it a little bit slower this morning. Just hang out, have a slow start. We're now all packed up. We've got most of our stuff actually packed in the ground tent, so we don't have to unpack it from the vehicles again. And it means we can drive with lighter weight vehicles today while we're exploring as well. So it means we got our little base camp sorted. Then we can go out, have a bit of an excursion, go and see and explore the Moremi. We are heading out to do the Emboma Loop. Should take us a couple hours, and then we have booked in to do a safari cruise on the Delta. So that should be quite beautiful. So we've got that from about 4 to 6. So that's going to be a nice sunset drive. That should be spectacular. Nice way to kind of see the animals and stuff from the water itself. So I'm looking forward to that. But we should have a really fun day ahead of us. We'll stop somewhere along the way, make ourselves a bit of a lunch or something, and hopefully we get some good animal sightings. But here we are, enjoying another beautiful day in the Okavango Delta. This is an awesome little stop here. Found a nice little tree, got a beautiful view. Ah, lovely. Gonna make some sandwiches, have some nice cold beverages. Brilliant, 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 brilliant.
Spotted a hippo. It's right on the opposite side, or opposite bank of this pan in front of us. Nice. So we could have actually been in the way of a hippo.
Very thin.
The Mboma Loop is northwest of Third Bridge and takes you on a beautiful twisty-turny loop through dense riverine forest, views of lagoons and lovely open stretches of savanna. I can imagine this is quite the adventure during the wetter seasons, but for us right now, this is where the sand starts to get very thick and 4x4 was starting to become mandatory.
That was a really nice little loop. So the Mboma Loop is great. We got some good sightings. Nothing too crazy in terms of predators and stuff, but just the landscape is beautiful. The whole experience was really, really nice. Lots of thick sand, undulating roads, a lot of yumps and bumps and all sorts of things. Tight, twisting tracks through the little forest section. But really, really nice. Good fun stuff. We're just back at camp now. We're gonna hang out a little bit and then we are gonna be going on a 2-hour boat cruise for sunset, which is going to be absolutely awesome. So when we were in Namakwaland, Emma managed to fill up her own diesel just fine without needing any assistance. Hey? Oh, Rolfie, you're here. We weren't saying anything. Okay, just pick it up and pour it.
What are you doing, Adrian?
Oh, the Texas got the
Having a
air
nice
in.
little chocky. Very nice.
And Andy,
Show me the
Guilty
Texas with the
pleasure.
ends.
I've got you on video now.
It's got the air, not top. It's got the air, yeah.
We got no magnums, unfortunately. So here we are at the boat station. We're going to be taking one of these boats out for a little bit. So this is all just outside of the camp. Our camp is not very far from here actually. So we actually have a view of this. It's going to be very nice to kind of get on the water a little bit and see what's cooking here in the Okavango Delta.
Our guide that will be taking us is Wax. He has qualified 3 months ago and will be taking us on our little journey this afternoon. Luckily, he chose the 100 horsepower motor for us, but I hope this would not come around and bite us in the arse.
Dorsate, as they say. This is really cool. Everything we do, our boat's a bit heavy, our helicopter's a bit heavy, but it's still cool. We are flying.
This was awesome. You would never in 100 years think that all of this water was hiding away behind the grass. This route that Wax was taking us on looked like it was basically the same as the Emboma Loop, which means literally the whole day this was all hiding away right in front of our eyes. It was awesome to see everybody enjoying the experience, and I think it's a really good value for money one for a group like us. Well, until that 100 horsepower engine was coming back to bite us.
Come on, Rufi.
Hey, Zamakura.
There we go. That works. We'll make a Makoro captain out of you yet, Rolfie. Okay, we freeze. There's our first recovery of the trip. No winch or max tracks required here, just brute strength. Nice, Rolfie.
Now we were hammering it. I'm not sure if Wax was trying to make up time for the engine and turbine problems or what, but it was just an epic feeling. Until the open stretches quickly subside and you realize you're stuck in narrow channels with animals that seem so much bigger than when you're in a 3-ton vehicle. The vulnerability here on the water was something that really made the experience one to respect and appreciate. And after all, this is their land. But the thing that everyone fears most out on these boats are the most dangerous animal in Africa, the humble hippo. These cute, monstrous behemoths are quite something else out here though, and these lagoons are full of them. We were in good spirits and really enjoying the scenery as the sun began to set over the delta, until we encountered another engine problem at precisely the wrong time.
That thing. Bet you that thing runs faster than this boat goes. In reverse. Just hold on to it. Just hold on to it. Just hold on to it while we have our technical difficulties.
That thing's gonna come out the average, yes.
At least we won't see it coming.
Water sky.
Water sky. Oh,
Water.
It'll stay under, then if we get too close, it'll pop up. Like it's got a territory. We're skipping the hippos now. That's what it's like.
was the Hippo.
Yeah. That's enough. Yeah, we're good.
How's your motor?
That's timing.
But it hit the boat to your side, yes?
When does the prop get jammed full of stuff? Obviously when we have a hippo going after us. So that was quite the experience. Holy, that launched us out of the water.
Mine too.
Woo! Adrenaline pumping. Okay, hopefully we can get the prop cleared properly and we can get out of here now. Rufi, what do you think about that?
That was an experience, eh? Yeah. It was like hitting a rock. A solid rock. I hope the Hippo is okay.
I'm sure it's okay.
And I hope we're not going to sink.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
Definitely there was a male.
Male, yeah.
He was protecting his waters.
We're going to take turns rowing home. We're makoroing in the Okavango Delta.
Yeah, you pay extra for this normally. I feel like Wax is going to have to give us a good tip. Okay, so we've had a very exciting day and we need a good meal. So we've got a chicken flatty we got to do, we've got some pork chops, I'm going to do some rice, I'm going to do some sauteed cabbage and onion, and it's going to be really nice. A nice hearty meal after a long day. I mean, really the last proper meal we had was our sandwiches earlier on our game drive. And that was in the morning. The rest we've just been snacking on biltong and droevors and sweets and chips and all the crap throughout the day. So nice to have a good proper meal.
You can't really relax in the evenings out here because you constantly have to be watching your back and checking out what's hiding in the shadows. And after our river cruise, we felt like the hippos were back to finish the job. But luckily, they were more interested in the grass.
Sun is coming up, breaking through the clouds. It's looking to be a beautiful day. Now we can head over the famous third bridge because it has been repaired and make our way to Xakanaka. Awesome, let's get going.
Another game viewer.
Third Bridge has been out of action and under reconstruction for a pretty long time now. So for it to be back is a huge win for those traveling between Third Bridge and Xakanaka. This drive is 15 kilometers and would take just over an hour now. But when the bridge is out of commission, it means heading all the way back to Southgate and then to Xakanaka, an easy 4-hour route instead.
The bridge just seems lacquer.
It's,
It's just tight.
Much better than the old third bridge, that's for
yeah. Well, I wouldn't drive over that.
No, I wouldn't drive over that. Probably better than driving through the mud though, but
Yeah.
still not great.
Anything is better than the mud.
No, absolutely. We've been smelling wafts of death every now and then on the wind, and we did hear about this dead elephant here. It's probably the reason we didn't have any hyenas and stuff in our camp, because they could just come here and probably eat the elephant. So it's a bit sad, but it is part of what happens in the Okavango Delta. It's natural for animals to die out here, so it is what it is.
This bridge is coming up soon.
I thought it would be cool for everyone to show their garments and see how the different models show the Tracks for Africa map. The Drive and the Overlander look pretty similar, and the Tread Overland Edition definitely shows things a little bit more clearly. Each bridge in the Moremi has its own character, and I am sure could tell hundreds of crazy stories from over the years. And I'd actually love to hear some of your stories in the comments too, if you have any epic memories you'd like to share.
Yeah, I don't think crossing those bridges gets any less stressful as it goes. They're just so rickety and there's like logs missing and all sorts of stuff, but hey, we made it.
Our path through the massive Mapani forests was beautiful, but you do have to be careful of some downed trees from the elephants' roughhousing.
It's a bit more than a crappy Toyota boss in this one.
Xakanaka is another big camp within the Moremi. It also has a boathouse and arguably has better river cruises because the channels are wider and the Xakanaka lagoon is much larger. It seems to be in higher demand, but I definitely don't feel it is any more or less spectacular than Third Bridge, so I'd say get whatever you can book for the longest period of time if you do get a chance to make it out here.
So we've arrived at Xakanaka and it is, I mean, you're really close to the water here. I can see why this campsite's fully booked out. It's lovely. We're gonna have a little chill, have a little breaky, and then we're gonna move on. But we thought we'll come and park here by the water, have a little nice breaky. Check out how clean this water is from the Okavango. It's very clear. First time these little guys are coming out, and the first time the Weber's out this trip. This is where I find it's really nice, is when we're doing a quick little pit stop, we want to do a nice breakfast, because I can do eggs, I can do bacon, I can make toast on here, I can do so much with it. It's brilliant. The little egg rings help that obviously if the table's a bit skew or whatever, that you don't tip and your eggs don't run into all sorts of weird places. Lekker braai by.
I made dop, check die move.
That was a nice little lunch stop here at Xakanaka. We're now going to be heading through to our next spot. We're going to be staying at Mankwe. They've got a satellite camp set up there where it's basically a tented accommodation. There's a bit of breakfast in the morning and stuff like that. So it's going to be a nice little treat just to see some different dimensions of what you can do out here, you know, from camping in the parks to staying out of the parks and seeing what some of the options are there. I think it's going to be really, really nice. So, Rolfie, it's a bit of a different way of overlanding here, hey?
Yeah, this is 5-star luxury. Bloody overlanding stories, yeah.
Oh, it is.
I don't know, is this overlanding anymore?
I mean, we drove here, it's in the middle of nowhere, and we are theoretically camping. I'm sure this is overlanding. It's very nice. Apparently it's quite an active campsite in terms of hyenas and stuff like that, so we'll need to keep an eye out, but the goal here is just to have a little chill out. It's been quite a year.
After a hectic few days leading up to entering the Moremi and 3 really epic days enjoying it, we were ready to chill out for a couple of days and catch up with ourselves at Mankwe. All in preparation for the truly special Khwai Magotho that we will be spending 4 days at in the next episode. Please remember to like the video and subscribe so you let YouTube know that you enjoyed it and that you want to see more roam overlanding.
When the hippo attacked us, that was the scariest thing. Because we really got off quite lucky, because if that had tipped us over and it was like nearly sunset, we could have had real issues, you know.
Or a hole in the boat, or
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that could have really been something.
There is a beauty about this place. There's this wild ruggedness. The animals are right here by you. Can't believe we had a hyena so close to us last night. We're riding past elephants. We've seen lions. It's this goose flesh, this goosebump, this inner excitement when you're coming into Africa. And I'm so glad at least I've been able to come here.
The experience through these roads with all the thick sand and all the ruts and things we got to go through, I didn't expect those roads, and it has really been fun testing our vehicles, seeing what they're capable of, and all our kit. The camp setups work well, the tents sleep well, everything was just fantastic. Hyenas right here in the camp and past us here last night, it's exciting. It's
absolutely
awesome. That's what this bush is about. Experiencing being so close to nature.
I knew it was going to be wild, but this is proper wilderness. If you love the bush, you have to come to the Moremi, you have to come to the Delta, you have to go on a boat. It is what it is at the end of the day. It's the Okavango Delta.
Thank you so much to the awesome sponsors for making these trips happen and providing us with equipment designed to conquer the toughest overlanding conditions. And I want to let our Patreon members know how much I appreciate their continued support month after month, keeping Rome alive one video at a time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next adventure when we head to Khwai. Cheers!